Now, Izzy's still got something left to give the fight world. Simple as that. He's only 35 years old. There's still miles left on the clock. There's still gas in the tank. And I do believe there's fun fights for him to have out there. I think maybe go up to 205, fight Yuri Prohaska.
Give him new blood. Give him something that's going to be intriguing. And there's intriguing fights right now. You've got the French dude, Imavov. That is going to be a fantastic fight.
Obviously, Izzy just came off of 2 losses now. I don't know who he can fight. Maybe he can fight the loser, Robert Whitaker versus Hamzat. It's very hard. I feel like Izzy's in this weird area where does he go from here? But I want to see him fight again. He is 35 years old. He doesn't have to work, but he loves his shit. So we'll see what happens. So shout out to Izzy. Wishing nothing but the best, brother. Hope you heal up.
So let's agree. We're thinking the next, if he has to fight, the next fight is Nasruddin Imavov. Should Imavov get past, I believe, Brendan Allen? I believe they're scheduled to fight.
Really?
I believe Imavov and Brendan Allen are scheduled to fight.
I was gonna say like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson would be a fun fight for Izzy, just because of the style. But you know, obviously, I was like they're in different weight classes, so I didn't want to. I was trying to think of a middleweight.
The other thing that Israel could do too is he's got fights he's got fun fights maybe at light heavyweight. Dude. I know he's always talked about it. I mean, he's gonna. I mean, there's a cool fight with him and Jamal Hill. I mean, they're both strikers. You saw with you know, this shit ain't far fetched.
What's next for Israel Adesanya? I don't know. That opens up a bunch of cool fights. I think we could have an Israel Adesanya, Paulo Costa rematch. We could have a Jared Cannonier rematch. I'm curious, but I bet you Adesanya will take a little bit of time off, and not rush it.
You know, for Izzy, I believe that there are a lot of big fights that he can go and pursue. In the build, someone asked me this question: does Izzy need to win? And the moment I heard that, I recognized that there was a lot of pressure, because when you fought 12 straight title fights and your UFC career is only about 15, 16 fights total, how do you find the motivation to go and just fight?
I tell you what, dude, I am a bit of an Israel hater, but I am a fan, dude. For a guy that doesn't have the level of grappling, that doesn't come from wrestling like we have, Kamaru, to be able to do what he's done, beating guys like Romero, you know, Robert Whitaker a couple of times I was there, Paulo Bohashinian, in the fashion that he did. I mean, I got a lot of respect for that dude. So, you know, sometimes even when Israel loses, I kind of get a little bummed out, dude. Like, I really do, because he's great for the sport, man. He's flashy. He you know, he hypes it up. Yeah, sometimes he might be the king of cringe. He's saying some crazy shit sometimes, or doing some crazy shit. But at the end of the day, man, he gives back to the sport. He brings a lot of eyes, and you have to respect that.
Great. When you talk about, you know, can a rich man still fight? Can he dig deep and find that dog? You need all of those things for when something gets hard. And I only suggest that for you that if Izzy was to come off of main event and go to co-main, he's going to have 3-round fights, which is a very difficult thing to do, but not by his standard. He hasn't had only 3 rounds to prepare for in over 4 years. 3 rounds would feel like something easy for Izzy. I think that it's very relevant. I think there's a lot of things that he can do, and maybe you can't do them in the championship rounds after 35. I don't know. That's to be seen, but there's a lot of things he can do, and it's a different sport. You change one rule, you have now changed the sport.
So, is Israel Adesanya done with championship fights? More than likely. Has he given the sport of MMA a lot to celebrate? Of course he has. He smashed it out the park. And other than Anderson Silva, he will go down as the greatest middleweight to ever compete in the UFC so far. But records are made to be broken, right? And we might see someone else emerge one day. But if he's never the champion again, there's no shame in that. Congratulations, Izzy. What you've achieved in this sport is phenomenal. What you've done in combat sports is incredible. You have inspired so many people. You've given the sport so much entertainment, from the walkouts to the performances to the post-fight celebrations, okay? You did it. You knocked it out the park. You came, you saw, you kicked some ass. But probably soon, it's going to be time to retire. And we see that all the time. Your favorite fighters aren't competing anymore.
Yeah, you'll see me again when you see me again. I'm not like, oh, I need to do this. I need to go fight for the belt again. I need to, none of that. I'm just doing me. I want to just keep getting better.
Can he still get it done against other guys? Absolutely, he can. Just guys that once the pattern's laid out, we've said this before, once people start seeing the pattern to beat him.
That blueprint.
Yeah. But let me give you, in all fairness though, the pattern that's been laid out right now to beat him is not the easiest pattern to get.
There's definitely roads for Izzy to come back. But Izzy's got the kind of contract, much like Ronda Rousey. Like sometimes a person's level of success within their contract will retire them. Now, if Izzy says, I want to do it again, he will be shown that respect.
Adesanya's got a ton of money. Probably doesn't have to do anything more for the rest of his career to try to gain more financial freedom. Adesanya has got popularity. Adesanya has fame. He can be known and do appearances for a long time to chase down money that he would not be making inside the Octagon. So where do you find the motivation to just fight? That was probably, and somebody goes, DC, one more. I'm like, dude, I'm so done. I'm 45 years old. But even back then, when I fought that last fight, the reason I walked away was because how was I going to find the motivation after having so many championship fights back to back? That's going to be a question Izzy has to ask himself. And it'll be a much harder question than you anticipate. Because people say it's bigger than the belt in so many cases. Until you find yourself fighting, not for the belt. Because you know all that comes with that championship.
I'm more happy with this fight than my last fight because, again, I performed. I showcased myself. I felt great, man. I felt great. So, again, I wasn't really, like I said, I wasn't hanging on the result. I just wanted to showcase myself, and I felt like I did that tonight. In my eyes, I was winning the fight until I wasn't. So, yeah, as long as I performed, I made myself proud. I just don't like the result. But again, I'm not hanging on the result. I'm just proud of with how I performed.
But the man was as good as I thought. He was as good. I'm so happy that he went out there and you could, after the fight, say, this was the best Israel Adesanya. He felt great. And you could see it in his, just in physique. That's equal to work.
What's going to happen with the division? We don't know. Maybe Dricus goes on this crazy run. Maybe he fights Alex Pereira, takes Hamza out. We don't know. But I tell you what, I would put money on it that we're not going to see Israel Adesanya for too much longer.
We can't expect a guy to be at his best coming off of a break. We never do. We never expect a guy to be at his best. And I think he still looked really good. I think he could still be the champion of the world. That very performance, that very night, had we just had another 10 minutes of it and avoided the choke, just for example, like this was not a guy to me that looked like he was done. He didn't look like he'd slowed down, which is the first thing to go. They love to tell you that power is the last thing to go, which is not true at all. It's actually a stupid thing to say. But they never take the time to tell you the first thing to go, and the first thing to go is your speed. That didn't happen. We're not at that point.
I think he's still there. I think the next person maybe in line is maybe he gets a fun fight and maybe he does a rematch with Paulo Borrachinha. I think he does a fight with Paulo, and he waits for the winner of Dricus and Strickland. He beats him, and he's back in the title picture again. That's the beauty about being part of the UFC is it's narratives.
First of all, I want to talk about Israel Adesanya. He is a legend of the sport, with or without the belt. The guy has done it all, do you know what I mean? He doesn't need a belt, the guy, to be a champion.